Hello, you're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting late edition this evening. Indian government has demonetized the high-value currency notes, that is currency notes of 500 and 1000 rupees, with an objective to unearth black money, to curb corruption, counterfeit currency as well as terror financing. Now, this decision was considered as the biggest cleanliness drive against black money in the history of Indian economy. It is said that change is hard at first, messy in the middle and gorgeous in the end. The shock and awe at Prime Minister's announcement soon changed to optimism and consent as the countrymen gauged the benefits it will reap in the future. The government made further efforts to minimize the inconvenience being caused to the citizens. Today in Late Edition, we'll talk about all this with two guests in our studio. We're joined in by Mr. A.K. Bhattacharya. He is Editorial Director, Business Standard. And also joining us is Mr. Subodh Kaushik. He is former General Manager, Punjab National Bank. Thank you, sir, both of you, for joining us on Late Edition this evening. Mr. Bhattacharya, first we'll talk about what were the long-term and the short-term objectives of the government when it announced the demonetization drive, in the sense that we are not a small country. There have been recent reviews which say that Sri Lanka had also demonetized, but we are the 7th largest economy in the world. What were the long-term and the short-term objectives of the government?
Well, it's very obvious. I think the government realized that the source of black money were many. The sources were many. You have black money in cash, you have black money in real estate, black money in gold. And the government thought that it would start with the cash. And keeping that objective in mind, it decided to demonetize high denomination currency notes of 500 and 1000, as you just now said. Now, the challenges were huge, formidable challenges. Inconveniences caused to people were also huge. But 11 days or 12 days later, we do realize that the queues have got shorter. And the challenges, the initial hiccups probably are getting sorted out. The goal of tackling the stock of black money will certainly be achieved. But this in itself cannot tackle the larger goal of rooting out black money, which is generated because of parallel economy and its activities. So the short-term goal of tackling the stock of illegal money has been tackled to a great extent, as much as it resided in cash. But the long-term goal of rooting out the black economy as such still remains, and that challenge is still very, very daunting.
All right, we will talk about that challenge in a while from now. But then, Mr. Kaushik, as a banker, how would you evaluate the government's move, in the sense that we're talking about the inconvenience of the common man, but then how big was it a challenge for the government to ensure first rationing of the cash and then making it available to the people?
See, all these days we have been seeing that things have changed, and that shows the flexibility of the government in tackling the situation. Wherever certain things were not anticipated, government has responded in a very positive manner, and wherever the difficulties are being observed, some measure is being taken. And also you must have observed that wherever there were people taking advantage of those relaxations, then somewhere the change has been made towards other direction.
Yes.
I am referring to the amount to be exchanged at the counter, so that the facilities are not misused. The idea is to reach out to the persons, and in a very systematic way. Now the 500 rupee note is also coming into circulation. ATMs are being configured to dispense 2000 rupees and 500 rupee currency note. Once that stabilizes, then entire panic which you initially witnessed will go away. So the government has been responding to the requirement of the people. They are very sensitive to it, and therefore there has been a change in response, the latest in line being about the farmers.
Yes.
So these all things are going to adapt to the effort which they have initiated, and I think it is in the right direction.
Yes, it is in the right direction, Mr. Bhattacharya. I would want you to evaluate for us how important and how big was it a task to focus on the farmers? Because we've seen that a number of measures have been put forth by the government, and how far will it help in easing out the inconvenience which has been caused to the farmers, given the fact that the mainstay of the economy is agriculture, isn't it?
Well, of course, but let me put the whole thing in context. Almost 86% of the currencies which were demonetized, 500 and 1,000 rupee accounted for them. So 86% of the entire currency base consisted of 500,000 rupee notes. And the total number of notes which were to be demonetized as a consequence of the decision were 23 billion currency notes. And so the task or the challenge before the government and the banking system were really huge. And so therefore, and on top of that came the challenge, which is a technological challenge, where the ATMs were not geared to dispense the new currency notes. They were of a different size, and there is a slight software issue. So therefore, the initial days, there were you did see long queues, bit of disorderly behavior, chaos, and understandable, because 90% of the economic transaction in this country is actually in cash. We are a cash economy. 12% of GDP is in cash. So therefore, the challenge was huge, and today you have allowed many public utilities to accept these demonetized notes for the genuine transactions. We now expanded it to the farmers. Now the farmers' move is very, very significant, because we are in the middle of sowing season. The farmer is flush with money after the harvesting season is over, the Kharif harvesting season is over. So most probably he is with money, cash, but that cash cannot be used for buying seeds or fertilizer for the Rabi season cropping. So he is stuck. So I think this government move, probably a few days late, but has come in good time, so that the distressed farmer can actually go out and buy seeds from the government seed companies. But this will only help the wheat farmer and chana farmer. Large number of farmers who are going into different kinds of pulses, which is a major Rabi crop, they will still cannot buy those seeds, because those seeds are sold only by the private sector companies. So when you go to a private sector company, the farmer cannot use the 500 rupee or 1,000 rupee note. But if he goes to a government controlled or government owned seed company which only sell wheat seeds and to some extent chana seed, they will be able to get that money.
That was about the farmers. Mr. Kaushik, now demonetization was also witnessed in 1946 and 1978. As a banker, how would you, let's talk about the timing. Now we've seen that there are reports which predict how the economy will fare from here on. There could be a V-shaped transition which could be seen, as in when we talk of the growth and the GDP numbers. Elaborate more for us on this.
Yeah, you see, this was a very bitter pill, and it was a very tough decision to take on part of government also. You see, if you look at the long-term impact of this and the earlier demonetization, in earlier demonetization, the currency which was in circulation in high denomination, it was not available with the ordinary person, and the exchange for those was for those people who had actually really good amount of money with them, and that was less than 10% in circulation. So the impact was of different kind. Today we are talking in terms of 86% of the currency getting demonetized and then replaced. So it is a humongous task. It is only thanks to the vast network of banking channel now we have, added to that the BC channel, banking correspondent channel, that this has been actually made possible. Otherwise it would not have been possible. And with the ATMs coming into play, and now more and more ATM are getting operationalized, I am sure that this thing is going to ease out very soon. Maybe another 8-10 days, and we will see that things are getting back to the normalcy, and after a while we will see that everything is fine.
All right, Mr. Bhattacharya, we have the government saying that this is just the beginning, this is not the end, and demonetization is just one aspect of cleaning the structure, cleaning the society. I would want you to let's talk more about the real estate sector. How far would demonetization have a bearing on the real estate sector?
Well, before that, let me say, before I come to your question, this impact on GDP and economic activity, the government has already admitted to some slowdown in economic activities, and actually the finance ministry has come out with this assessment that the third quarter GDP growth may come down by 2 percentage points. So that itself will tell you how impactful was the decision in terms of how it really slowed down economic activity. Coming to your question on what impact it will have on the real estate, I think the large chunk of a real estate transaction takes place in cash. We all know that, but I think this step in itself will not tackle the real estate issue. The real estate issue is tackled provided the one is, and it is a state subject, not a central subject really, is the circle rates in different towns and cities and states. Well, those circle rates will have to come up to the level of the market price. Right now, the circle rates in most towns are way down below compared to the market price. So therefore, you can theoretically conclude a real estate transaction at the circle rate, and the market rate being higher, you can pay the rest in cash, which goes unaccounted, and therefore it adds to the corpus of black money in the economy. The second point is the stamp duty structure. Today the stamp duty rates are fairly high, and in many cases are prohibitive for people to register their property at the price at which the transaction took place. So there is an incentive on the part of the buyers and the sellers to declare a property to be transacted at a lower price than what they've actually transacted in. So there are two things that need to be taken in addition to what has been done now, which is the circle rates need to be raised, and two, the stamp duty needs to come down a little bit so that people are encouraged to come and declare their transaction value as they are, instead of deliberately lowering them so that they don't end up paying so much tax. The black money eradication drive can be successful only if it is coupled with many such steps like GST. The GST will definitely go a long way in tackling black money. Similarly, stamp duty structure, the circle rate structures, all these things what was taken. Now the government has announced about the Benami property issue. Now the Benami property, if I'm holding a property, I'm not the real owner, but I'm holding on behalf of somebody else. Now the government has made it very clear that the Benami property holders will be strictly acted against. So therefore, you need to battle this menace on many fronts. But this is not an easy battle. Demonetization is only a small part. The cash and black money, there is a very small portion of the entire black money is in cash. Estimates suggest that only 6% of black money is in cash. So what we have achieved by this, in spite of many inconveniences and the disruption in the economy, is tackling a small part of black money. But it is a beginning, and let us see how the government comes up with the next few steps as they are contemplating.
All right, Mr. Kaushik, now we are as huge as a $2 trillion economy. Added to that, mostly we are a cash economy. Transactions are done in cash, and cash has an important value in our day-to-day lives. I would want you to elaborately explain to us what exactly constitutes black money. Now, we've got households which have been saving all through their lives for difficult times in the near future, say for their daughters' weddings. Does that constitute for black money? Is there a sense of awareness among the common people when they stand in queues? There is a sense of insecurity in them when they come to the banks to deposit money. Added to that, there is also confusion when they go out there to open new accounts, to deposit the money. So as a banker, how do you tackle all this? And do you say that there is a sense of awareness which is required more at this point in time?
Yeah, definitely. You see, what is black money? Let me explain it in a different way. When you earn money through legal means, pay honest taxes, and what you get and what you have is the white money, which you can always use for yourself and whatever manner. When you still earn your money through the normal business process or some other source, and it's a honest earning, you have worked for it, but you don't pay the honest taxes, the portion on which you don't pay the taxes becomes the black money. There is also dirty money, which is when you get the money from illegal activities, the drug trafficking, the smuggling, the extortion. Now, these are three parts, and the third part has been definitely hit hard by this measure of the government. Besides the terrorism financing, another thing which has been badly hit is this part, because this has put an end to it for the time being at least. And the part of black money is only related to the payment of tax. So, therefore, anybody who has earned money honestly, for example, farmer, now his income is not taxable. He has got the money from the last crop, he has just realized it in cash, he can very well go and deposit and say that this is my money. Similarly, the families, the ladies have been saving money, so they can go and deposit whatever money they have got. And for other people also, most of it will go to the current year's income, unless it is very disproportionate to all their levels of transaction which they can show. If they have a justification, then this will probably form part of the current year income, and for that I would suggest that if they have that taxable income, they should pay their advance tax, and that will help them handling this situation very well, and they should not have any fear in the mind, and all confusion should go away from that part. And good part for the country is that the more money comes into circulation, it would be used for the productive purpose. Now, the banks are getting flushed with the deposits. So, therefore, what I can see going forward is the interest rate softening. When interest rate comes down, the lending rate will also come down on your home loan, on your commercial loans, on the loan to the industries, and that will reduce the cost of overall things which are coming into the market. So, once you have that kind of effect, that means it will in long term, medium to long term, it will help the economy to grow. So, whatever setback Bhattacharya has just rightly mentioned that we are going to have a setback of 2% for the time being, but going forward this will be more than made up.
Yes, in the longer run.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll take this thought forward, but at present we're heading for a short commercial break. Stay with us. Today in Late Edition, we're talking about demonetization and how flexible and sensitive the government has proved to be in making sure that the common man does not face much inconvenience. Stay with us. We'll be back after a short break.
छोटा कोई काम नहीं जो लगन से करे वो पूरा, बड़े बड़े सपने हो पूरे, कोई न रहे अधूरा, जो भी कर जी जान से कर, खुशियों की होगी बारिश।
जीवन के सफर में जी जान लगा देने वालों का फोन जीवी।
रोशनी का सिर्फ एक ही नाम, सूर्य। सूर्य एलईडी, खर्चा कम, चले ज्यादा, घर घर रोशनी का वादा। सूर्य।
People think techies are chained to their desks. Not me. I run UAVs. You know, drones. I have to say, it's pretty awesome. I grew up playing video games. And who would have thought that'll help me defend my country? Not my mom at least. We get there first and see what's around the corner so that there are no surprises for the rest of the team. We go everywhere, working with the latest and the best technology. But no Facebook.
We are India's most exciting workplace and we are making you an offer. The Indian Army. Live a life less ordinary.
बचपन में पेड़ चढ़ना अच्छा लगता था। बड़ी हुई तो सब चाहते थे कॉर्पोरेट लैडर चढ़ जाऊं। कुर्सी पर बैठे इनविजिबल सीढ़ियां चढ़ना नॉट माय स्टाइल। मुझे पसंद है टेक्नोलॉजी और पहाड़ चढ़ना। एंड दिस इज द ओनली जॉब जो मुझे दोनों करने देता है। इट्स लोनली एट द टॉप बट द व्यू इट्स इनक्रेडिबल।
हम है भारत के सबसे एक्साइटिंग वर्कप्लेस और हम दे रहे हैं आपको एक ऑफर। भारतीय सेना, आम नहीं ये जिंदगी।
Welcome back after the break. You're watching Late Edition. Today we have with us two guests in the studio and we're talking of the demonetization drive by the government, how it has been acting responsible and sensitive towards the concerns of the common man. We have with us Mr. A.K. Bhattacharya. He is Editorial Director for Business Standard. And we have with us Mr. Subodh Kaushik. He is former General Manager, Punjab National Bank. Mr. Kaushik, now we've seen as much as 6 lakh crore has already got back to the government. The government has already got hold of this money. What does it mean? In the longer run, there was expectation, there is in fact expectation that by 30th of December we'll get more of such money. But then eventually, how soon can we expect this money to be put to the use for the common man? We had the Prime Minister himself say that this money will be used for the benefit of the poor people and the common man in the country.
There are two things. The money, 6 lakh crore, which has been collected, has not actually gone into the hand of the government. The money has come into the banking system. And banking system, when it has an inflow of the money, the first likely impact is the reduction in rate of interest. Once the effective interest rate is reduced, everyone around is going to be benefited, whether it is a farmer, whether it is a home loan account, whether it is a vehicle loan, or is an education loan. So it is going to the general masses. It will give a benefit in reduction. And when we talk in terms of commercial activities and the industrial activities, there also the interest rate will come down. So this will help in making them more viable, and that will help in increasing the rate of economic growth in medium to longer term. This is one. Now when we talk of government will be getting higher amount of tax collection, because those of people who are now willing to come clean and then pay their honest taxes, they are going to help the government in bridging the fiscal deficit, and it will help the government to spend that money on welfare of the people. So this is going to give government a strength to actually do more welfare activities. Last year we have seen that the insurance has been extended both for the life and medical. That amount can go higher. Certain other activities will take place. Infrastructure investment can go higher, which will again generate the employment. So it has got a multiplier effect. Third part is that the amount of money which ultimately does not come back to the banks, that is the money where the liability of the government will be extinguished. So to that extent, the liability will go down. It will strengthen our currency. It will also give a leverage to the Reserve Bank of India, in fact, to issue fresh currency without affecting the total money in circulation which we have today. So in all, this is going to have a positive impact. Of course, the temporary difficulties I can see in using it, the money which is to be exchanged and the money to be taken. My suggestion to the public at large is that they deposit whatever money they have got in the banks, and then whatever their requirement, they can withdraw that money, and it is going to be gradually relaxed. We have also seen it today, it's being relaxed a bit. So that is going to be the way forward, and the government is very sensitive to the requirement of the industry, farmers and the normal person, common man, what we call.
And so we've been seeing changes depending on the feedback and the ground reality, the ground reports which the government has been
government has been
receiving,
responsive. Yes. Let us not say that some people use the word flip-flop. I will not say that. Government has been responsive, and this responsiveness is helping the people. You must have seen that whatever the little difficulties people have faced, but they are always saying that no, it is a good move.
They have welcomed the move.
So
yes.
They have welcomed the move.
All right, Mr. Bhattacharya, we've seen that the government had talked of how to make this country corruption-free. It began with the constituting of the SIT, then we had the declaration window. So there has been an effort by the government to cleanse the society, added to that to ensure there is a change in the culture of the country, isn't it? We've seen that it is talking of eradicating black money and, the parallel economy and efforts which have been put in place. How far will it help the country in the longer run? And, you know, what rest has to be done to ensure that this objective of the government is achieved?
Well, I mean, there is no doubt that these steps will go to some extent in eradicating black money, at least its stock. But I think the big step that the government will have to take now is to tackle election funding, because election funding is considered to be one of the biggest source of black money in this country. And as the government, if government is serious about tackling black money, it must, without losing any time, must ensure that the election funding is becoming more transparent. The political parties that are many parties, many candidates flout the election funding ceilings with impunity, and I think the proper assessment has to be made. And if the election funding, the way the political parties collect their funds, are made more transparent, they come under the Right to Information Act.
Yes.
I think these are very important steps before you can actually launch a proper assault on black money.
Got it, yes.
And coming to the point about the money part, whether more money in the banks will lead to lower interest rate or not, money is a very strange commodity. I mean, my sense is interest rates will come down not just by more money comes into the people's account, but also by what is the inflation forecast, inflation outlook like. And the money that gets extinguished will, in some other way, will have to be brought back into the system, because if you don't do that, then there will be a major liquidity crisis. So the government cannot just rely on this bonanza of whatever lakh crore of money which will get extinguished, because that money will have to be replenished into the system, without which there will be a cash crunch and there will be a liquidity crisis. So therefore these are very complicated issues, and I think the government and the Reserve Bank of India will have to sit together and work out the equations.
All right, sir, on that note, we'll end this discussion. Yeah, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us on DD News for Late Edition today. So as we say, that change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and also gorgeous in the end. So we can just wait and watch how it pans out in the near future. The pain and the inconvenience caused to the common man will not go in vain. That has been categorically said by the Prime Minister, and we know that the government is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that this inconvenience is minimized. On this note, we'll end this Late Edition this evening. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.